6 o'clock then I can go out 54 minutes. USB cable. Mouse connect mouse connect first.
இது அந்த இது கனெக்ட் பண்ணனுமா?
அதுக்கு USB வேணும். நான் வேணா போட்டு
இந்த ஓகே.
Good evening. Am I audible to everyone? Lokesh, good evening. Revati, good evening. Yes, Seema, good evening. Bhagwan, good evening. Am I audible to everyone? Yes? Yes, I will just start the session. What we discussed yesterday? Yes, Revati, good evening. Lokit, good evening. Srilekha, good evening. Geeta, good evening. Am I audible? Madhu, good evening. Mahida, good evening. Swati, good evening. Yes, good evening everybody. What we discussed in the previous class, I was discussing with you about classes and objects, right? What do you mean by a class and what do you mean by an object? I was discussing with you about classes and objects, right? Yes, what do you mean by a class and what do you mean by an object? Please respond. I was discussing with you about classes and objects. What do you mean by a class and what do you mean by an object? So whatever we saw in the previous class, everything is clear. So have you completed the assignment questions? 3 questions I gave you, right? Have you completed that? Yes? Yes. Today I am going to, yes, a class is nothing but a prototype or a template from which many instances of that type can be created. They are called as objects. So everything is clear? Yes? So today I am going to continue. So in this lecture I am going to discuss with you about what do you mean by iterators. So what do you mean by iterators and modules in Python? A class is a code, yes, from which many instances of that type can be created. They are called as objects. Yes, I will just share the PPTs. So let me just start with that. So today I am going to discuss with you object means an instance of the class as good Durga. My voice is echoing. I don't know, maybe this room is a different room. Yes, object is an instance of the class. So today I am going to continue with this. So I am going to discuss with you about iterators in Python. So what do you mean by an iterator in Python? Anybody can tell me what do you mean by an iterator? This is one more important concept in Python language. So I am going to discuss with you about iterators. So what do you mean by an iterator? So it is an object that is used to iterate over iterable objects. For example, I can just iterate over list, tuples, dictionaries, sets. So I can just iterate over these objects. That is the use of this iterators in Python. So whenever I want to print a list of employee names, or whenever I want to print a list of student names, so I can go for this iterators in Python. It is used to iterate over iterable objects. For example, I can iterate over lists, tuples, dictionaries, sets. So the iterator object is initialized using the iter method. Clear? So there is a method called iter method that is used for initialization of an iterator. It returns an iterator object and the next method it returns the next value for the iterable. So whenever I am going to use this iterators, so why I have to go for this iterators? Whenever I want to traverse through any of the collections, for example, I have a list. You can imagine. So what is the use of all these concepts in Python? So far I was discussing with you about some basics of Python. So what are the different types of tools and syntaxes used in Python? Today I am going to discuss with you about some advanced Python concepts. What is the use of iterators and what is the use of next method? So it internally uses the iter method in order to get an iterator object. Clear with this? It further uses the next method in order to iterate over. So whenever I want to iterate over the next method, next item of an object, it uses the next method. So whenever all the items in my iterators or that is gone, so it raises a stop iteration signal in order to end the iteration, in order to signal the end of the iteration. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this? Iterators in Python. So this is one more important concept in Python language. What is the use of iterators? What are the different things that can be done using this iterators in Python? So all these are the different things that can be done using this iterators in Python language. Clear with this? So what are the different things that can be done using the iterators in Python? So let me just show you a simple example of this. What is the use of iterators in Python? So I will just show you a simple example. So what are the different things I can do with this in Python? For example, I want to print something. So firstly I want to print something. I am saying here as pantech. Clear with this? 1 minute. So after typing my code in the code cell, I need to click the run button. So firstly I am just initializing a variable. For example, I have a variable called iterable value. I am just initializing this variable within single quotes. I am just storing here as pantech, and this variable, it is given as a parameter to my iter function. So whenever I want to iterate each and every letters of this pantech, so this is given as a parameter to my iter function. It is stored in the variable iterable object. Clear with this? So whatever is the parameters, for example, I am just passing this pantech, this is given as a parameter to my iter function. So for example, 1 minute. So I am going to discuss with you about iterators. For example, I am just initializing this iterable value. For example, equal to within single quotes. I am just mentioning here as pantech. So this iterable value, this is given as a input to this iter function. Clear with this? So whatever is the value, this is given as an input parameter to this iter function. It is stored in the variable iterable object. So for example, I am just checking for this condition while true. So inside this, I am just coming for a try block. So firstly, I am just calling the next method. So whenever I want to iterate each and every characters present in this pantech, so I am just calling the next method. And this iterable object, this is given as a parameter to my next method. So it is going to call each and every element. So whenever I want to print each and every character present in this input string, so this iterable object, so this is given as a parameter to my next method. I am just calling this next method. It is stored in the variable item. Clear with this? So you can just see here. So I am just printing this item pantech. This will be printed at the output. And whenever I want to stop this, so if there is any exception in the try block, it will be caught in the exception block. Stop iteration. Clear with this? So what is the use of this iterators in Python? So this is one more important concept in Python language. What is the use of iterators? Clear? So whenever I want to traverse through a list of, for example, student records. So what is the use of Python language? Basically, I was discussing with you about different types of programming languages. One is called as a high-level programming language, and one more is called as a low-level programming language. So what records. Clear with this? So whatever I want to print, so I can just iterate through a list or I can iterate through a tuple. So iterable value, this is given as a parameter to my iter function. It is stored in the variable iterable object. Clear? So I am just calling the next method, this iterable object, this is given as an argument to my next method. I am just calling the next function. Clear? So what do you mean by iterators in Python? So this is one more important concept. So firstly I was discussing with you about inbuilt iterator. There is one more type of iterator, so I can just customize my iterator. For example, if I want to print a range of numbers from 10 to 15, I am just fixing the limit as 5, then it returns nothing. For example, I just want to print a range of numbers from 10 to 15. I can go for this limit, so custom iterator. So from the starting limit, so it wants to print a range of numbers from 10 to 15. So whenever I want to define any new class, I have to use the class keyword followed by the name of the class. It is terminated with the colon symbol. So whenever I want to create any new class, I have to use the class keyword followed by the name of the class. It is prepended with the colon operator. And then I am coming inside, I am just initializing the constructor. Whenever I want to define any constructor or user defined functions, I have to use the def keyword. So I was discussing with you about two different types of functions available in Python language. What is the use of inbuilt functions? One is called as an inbuilt function and one more is called as a user defined function. So whenever I want to define any user defined function, I have to use the def keyword followed by this init. So I am just initializing this constructor. So self denotes the parent class instance and whatever is the limit. So I need to specify the limit. So self and then limit. So self dot limit equal to limit. So it is initialized to the variable self dot limit. And then I am calling an iterator object. So whenever I want to define any user defined function, I am calling this iter function. Self denotes the parent class instance or child class instance. And self dot x equal to 10. So I am just returning this self. If I want to move to the next element, so I am just defining a function called next function. So self dot x, I am storing the current value of x to the variable x. Clear? So this is called as a custom iteration. For example, you can imagine I want to analyze the patient records. So if I have some 1000 patient records, if I want to analyze, if I want to get some patient records from 50 to 100, so I can go for a custom iterator. So I can just put it in a list and I can iterate. So I can fetch some 50 records and I can do something. So I am doing some sort of customization. So that is why it is called as a custom iterator. Clear with this? And once the limit is reached, so I need to stop the iteration. So if x is greater than self dot limit, so I am going to really stop iteration. Clear? So what are the different things I am doing here? So else I am just doing here self dot x equal to x plus 1. I need to increment the old, I need to increment and return the old value and I am just returning this x value. So using the for loop, I am just printing the numbers from 10 to 15. Clear with this? So what is the use of this custom iterator? So if I want to print a range of numbers or if I want to print a range of customer names in an e-commerce industry, you can imagine Amazon, Flipkart. So if I want to print a range of customer names or employee names, I can go for this custom iterators in Python. So I will just show you a simple implementation of this. what do you mean by this custom iterators? So firstly I am just typing this code. I'm sorry. Clear with this? So whenever I want to create any new class, so firstly I am creating a user defined type. I am defining a class called test class, and inside this I am just initializing a constructor. I am calling the init constructor. So self denotes the parent class instance, and I need to specify the limit. So I am just initializing the variable limit. Self dot limit equal to limit. And then I am creating an iterator object. So whenever I want to iterate, so I am just calling this iterator object. Clear with this? So what I am trying to do here? So you can see here, the iteration is initialized. So after initializing step by step, I am just doing. So first I am just initializing the iterator. The iteration is initialized. Self dot x equal to 10. So after initializing the iterator, if I want to move to the next element, so I am just calling this next method. And if x is greater than self dot limit, so once it exceeds, I am going to stop the iteration. Else I need to increment the x value and the iteration continues. Clear with this? What happens here? So I can customize. Say for example, instead of printing from 10 to 15, so I can fix the limit. So whatever is the limit, so I can give the limit. For example, I want to print a range of numbers from 10 to 20. So in whichever way I want to customize, I can go for this custom iterators. So I want to fetch some specific records. I have several employees in a specific department in a company. So I am going to analyze some certain employees for certain analysis. So I can go for this custom iterators in Python. Clear till this part whatever I am speaking. So iterators is one important concept in Python language. So for example, the for loop is used internally. So it is used to traverse over the iterables. Clear? So I can use an internal for loop if I want to traverse through a list of elements, or if I want to traverse through a tuple. So all these are the different ways of using an iterator. So firstly I just discuss with you about a simple iterator. So if I want to print each and every character present in an input string. So next I was discussing with you about custom iterators. So based on some limit, based on some threshold, I want to that is print some 20 employee records, or if I want to print some 20 student records, so I can go for this custom iterators. So there is one more important type of iterator, so it is called as internally I can just use a for loop. So this is one more example. For example, I am just saying within double quotes, welcome to Pantech. It is stored in the variable L. So I am picking each and every element present in this list for I in L. So I am printing each and every element at the output. Or if I want to iterate over a tuple, so welcome to Pantech, you can see here I am just initializing a tuple. This is the corresponding syntax for initializing a tuple. So within double quotes, welcome to Pantech. So for I in T, so I am just mentioning here, so I am printing each and every element present in my tuple. And string iteration, if I want to iterate over a string, I want to print each and every character present in my string, so I can go for this string iteration. So in whichever way, for example, I want to iterate over a dictionary. So I am just initializing this dictionary using the dict keyword, and and D of x, y, z. So using this key value pass, I am just initializing this x, y, z with the value 123, and then I am initializing this ABC with the value of 345. So each key and value, this will be printed at the output. Clear with this? So what do you mean by that is I can iterate over a list, or if I want to iterate over a tuple, I can just iterate over a tuple. So let me just explain this iterators in Python. So what is the use of this kind of using an internal for loop? So within double quotes, I am just giving here as welcome to Pantech. Clear with this? So let me just illustrate. Clear with this? So firstly I am just printing a message within double quotes, list iteration, and inside this list L equal to, so I am just printing here welcome to Pantech. They are being separated by comma. So it is enclosed within square bracket. And for I in L, so I am printing, I am taking each and every element present in this list. I am using an internal for loop. So I am taking each and every element present in my list. So it is going to take welcome to Pantech. So everything will be printed at the output. And if I want to print a tuple of elements, it is enclosed within simple brackets. So welcome to Pantech, it is enclosed within simple brackets. So I am picking each and every element present in my tuple, so this will be printed at the output. And string iteration. So what do you mean by this string iteration? So if I want to print each and every character present in my input string, so I can go for this string iteration. Similarly, if I want to iterate over a dictionary key value pair, for example, under this name key, so I am storing some name. For example, I am just mentioning, so whatever is the name, I am just printing some name, John, and then I am initializing some value called age value. For example, I am printing here as 30. Clear with this? So all these are the different ways of iterating over a tuple. Clear? So what are the different ways of iterating over a tuple? So John and 30, this will be printed at the output. So the first one is a simple iterator. So if I want to iterate, you can see, you can give any word here. So it is going to pick each and every character present in my input string and it will be displayed at the output. So this is how, whenever I am going to use any of the iterators, first I need to initialize the iterator. So iter of, I am just passing this iterable value. It is stored in the variable iterable object. And while true, for example, I am just coming inside this try block and picking each and every element, next iterator. So I want to iterate through the list item. And finally, I have to stop the iteration. Clear with this? The next important iterator is custom iterator. So along with self denotes. So whenever I am trying to initialize my parent class constructor, so I have to use this init constructor. It is used for initializing the parent class constructor. And self denotes an instance of the parent class and I am passing some limit. So whether I should print some 10 numbers or 20 numbers, this is given as a parameter to my init constructor. And then if I want to pass to the next element of my list, I have to go for this iter method. So iter, I am just calling this function called iter function. Clear with this? And then I am calling this next method. So this is an example of custom iterator. So next one is I can use a for loop if I want to iterate through a list of elements. So you can see here they are being separated by comma. So I am just saying here welcome to Pantech, or I am saying some message welcome to Python, advanced Python programming. So whatever I am typing here, I am just saying here as advanced Python programming. Clear with this? Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. What do you mean by an iterator? If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright, if you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright, if you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for 2-month internship program on Advanced Python Programming and Python Full Stack. So once you are going to enroll in this program, you will be getting access to the how to connect whatever prediction I am doing, how to connect with the Flask framework or Django framework. So what is the MVP, model view template design pattern? Clear? And how to connect Python with the database. And finally, we will be building some applications. So end-to-end how to develop a full stack website using this Python. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for 2-month internship program on Advanced Python Programming and Python Full Stack. The internship cost comes around 999 rupees. Clear with this? So iterators is one important concept in Python. Next I am going to discuss with you about modules. Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. You are clear with iterators? Everything is clear? Avinash, which one you want me to My voice is audible, right? Yes, I will just send the PPTs. Any more doubts? You want me to explain the second code? Yes, Avinash, I will just explain the second code. So firstly, this is the code, right? I am creating a class called test class and I am initializing the iterator and I want to move the next element. This one you want me to explain, Avinash? Avinash, please respond. Whoever is asking the doubts. Which one you want me to explain again? Someone told me, right? Yes, which one you want me to explain again? Yeah, I will just explain this code. So I am just defining a class called test class. And whenever I want to initialize this parent class constructor, I am just using this init constructor. So self denotes the parent class instance and limit. So up to how much I want to. So I can just specify these two are given as that is parameter to my init constructor. So I am just initializing this limit, self.limit equal to limit. And then I am going to create an iterator object. For example, I am just defining a user defined function called iter function. And self denotes the parent class instance, parent class parameter. This is given as a parameter to my iter function. So firstly I am just initializing this variable. So self denotes the parent class instance. So whenever I want to initialize this variable, so I have to use this self keyword. So self.x equal to 10. And whenever I want to move to the next element, I am defining a function called next function. So self, this is given as a parameter to my next function. So I want to store the current value of x in the variable x. And if x is greater than self.limit, so once it exceeds this limit, I need to stop the iteration. So I am just incrementing the x value. So x equal to x plus 1. Clear with this? So what I am trying to do here? You are clear with this coding. So firstly I am just initializing. And after that I am calling this iterator. So 10 is stored in the variable x. And whenever I want to move to the next element, so I am defining a method called next method. And finally, once the limit is exceeded, so if x is greater than self.limit, so I am going to stop the iteration. Clear with this? Someone asked me, right? So next I am going to discuss with you about modules. So what do you mean by a Python module? So a module is nothing but a file. It contains some Python definitions, statements. So what do you mean by a Python module? So it is a file. It contains some Python definitions or statements. So a module can define some functions. So whenever I want to define some functions, classes, variables. So a module is nothing but a file. It contains a file containing Python definitions and statements. It can also include some code, runnable code. So whenever I have some definitions, I can use this module anywhere. So I can treat them as separate units or blocks. So a module is nothing but a file containing some Python definitions and statements. Clear with this? So what do you mean by a Python module? what are all the important features of this Python language, modular programming? So I can store them as separate units or modules and I can reuse them anywhere in the program. So it imports the module if the module is present in the search path. So whenever I am going to call an import statement, it imports the module if it is present in the search path. So a search path is a list of directories. The interpreter searches for importing a module. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this modular programming? So the interpreter, whenever it encounters, whenever I am going to import the module, it is going to search in the search path and I can use them anywhere. Clear? So what do you mean by this modules? For example, I have to import the module. I have written a file calc.py. So I can just using dot operator, so I can import this and I can use them anywhere in my coding. So why we have to go for this modular programming? So whenever I have some piece of code, so I can store them as separate modules. I can reuse them anywhere in my program. So I can import a specific module and I can use them anywhere. I can call the module anywhere. I can import the module and I can just start using them. Clear? So this is one simple program using these modules. Whenever I want to define any user-defined function, I have to use the def keyword followed by the name of the function. And I am passing this parameter. So an argument parameter, this is given as a parameter to my print function. Clear with this? So I am just importing the support module and using this module name using dot operator, I am just calling this print function. So whichever input functions I have to call, using the module name using dot operator, I am just calling this print function. For example, if I want to print the name of the student or a name of an employee, it is enclosed within double quotes. I will just show you a simple example of this. What do you mean by this modular programming in Python? For example, I am just typing here as Ramya. So I have to give the hash symbol. Whenever I want to define any user-defined function, I have to use the def keyword followed by the name of the function. So whatever is the name of the function, I am calling a function called print function. So I am passing this parameter. This is given as a parameter to my print function. So I am just printing something. So hello. So whatever is the parameter, this will be printed at the output. So I am just importing the support module and support dot print function. So whenever I want to print something Ramya, this will be printed at the output. Whichever modules I want to use, so I have to import the corresponding module. I am just importing the support module and using the module name using dot operator, I am just calling this print function. So Ramya, this will be printed at the output. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this modular programming? So modules are one important component, or you can say it is one important concept in Python language. So I can just import the entire module, or instead of entire module, if I want to import some specific attributes, I can do so. For example, from math modules, I can import some specific modules, square root, factorial. So I can import some specific modules from this math module. So instead of importing everything, so I can import some specific modules. So there is an inbuilt module called math module. So I can import some specific attributes 16. So whatever is the square root of this number and the factorial of this number, it will be printed at the output. Clear with this? So inside math module I have several attributes. If I want to find some, if I want to use some specific attributes, so I can import the specific attributes from this math module. So I will just show you a simple example of this, what I am trying to do here. So from math, I am just importing square root and then factorial. Clear with this? And then I am trying to print the square root and the factorial of the number. So I am just giving the print statement. So square root of 25. So whatever is the square root of 25 will be printed. And then I am calling this factorial function. So factorial of 6, this will be printed at the output. So from math modules, I am just importing square root and then factorial. So whichever modules I want to import, I have to import the specific modules, attributes from this math module. So there is a inbuilt module called math module. From this I am importing all these attributes. So whatever is the square root, I am just using this all these attributes, square root of 25 and factorial of 6. So square root of 25 is 5 and factorial of 6 is 720. Clear with this? So what are the different ways of using a module? And instead of importing some specific attributes, you may want to import everything from a specific module. So from the module name, so I am just importing star. Clear with this? So from math module, so I am just importing star. With this, I am just stopping today. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me. I hope I am clear with my topics. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this Masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving the internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this Masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving the internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for 2-month internship program on Advanced Python Programming and Python Full Stack. The internship cost comes around 999 rupees. Once you are going to enroll in this program, so you will be learning how to connect whatever the predictive tasks we are doing, how to connect with the Django and the Flask framework. So you will be learning the different concepts in Django, how to connect Python with the database, and finally we will be building some applications, full stack websites using Python. Any doubts? Which one you are getting error? Harman? Predefined modules. Already we have some modules in Python. For example, math is a predefined module. So whenever I want to raise any exceptions, I can go for the use of raise keyword. Yes, Shrikar, you can enroll in the internship. So the math module, so exactly you can see here. So what is the use of math module? If I want to use some mathematical attributes, if I want to find the square root of a number, or if I want to find the factorial of a number, so you can import some specific attributes from this math module. Alright then. So support this one inbuilt module, Shabana. So I have an inbuilt module called support module. So I am using this module. So I am just calling it. It contains some inbuilt functions called print function. I am just importing this module called support and I am calling this print function. Any more doubts? Yes, math module contains some mathematical attributes. So if you have any errors, you can send your errors in the Facebook link. Constructor is used for initializing. So whenever I want to initialize any class variables, I can go for a constructor. And iterators, if I want to iterate through some collections, for example, list of employee records, or if I want to print some list of student records, I can go for an iterator. Which one you are not clear, Krishna? Sai Krishna? So first just think of a design. So what you want to program, whatever is the problem, and you can just start typing your own code. So you want me to, okay, yes, I will just write it in a notepad. So it is a default, the Jupyter notebook, it works in that way. Alright then, remember